In previous video I talked about bald eagle adaptation. I wish you see the video. In this video I will talk specifically about bald eagles in Indiana. Enjoy watching and please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Indiana is a state in the Midwest of the United States. It is the 17th most populous and the 38th largest in terms of area among the 50 states. Indianapolis is the nation's capital and largest city. On December 11, 1816, Indiana became the 19th state to join the Union. It is surrounded by the Wabash River and Illinois to the west, Lake Michigan to the northwest, Michigan to the north and northeast, Ohio to the east, the Ohio River and Kentucky to the south and southeast. The comeback of the bald eagle in North America and Indiana has been a wonderful success story. In the lower 48 states, where less than 500 pairs were counted during a study in 1963, there are currently more than 10,000 pairs living there. The 1970s prohibition on DDT and other pesticides, protection under the Bald and Golden Eagle Protection Act and Endangered Species Act, improved habitat conditions, and reintroduction initiatives in multiple states are all crucial steps in this recovery. The bald eagle was removed from the U.S. endangered species list in 2007 and Indiana's list in 2008 as a result of the efforts of numerous governmental, private, and individual agencies and individuals, which have led to thriving numbers today. Seeing a bald eagle over much of the lower 48 states used to be an uncommon occurrence, but now Hoosiers have a great chance of doing it without traveling very far at most times of the year. By acquiring and releasing bald eagles in south-central Indiana in the 1980s, the Wildlife Diversity Unit of the Indiana Division of Fish and Wildlife significantly contributed to the recovery. A facility near Lake Monroe housed 73 eagles that were relocated from nests in Wisconsin and Alaska between the years of 1985 and 1989 when they were 5 to 6 weeks old. At 10 to 12 weeks of age, when the young birds could fly, they were released and fed while they honed their fishing techniques. It was anticipated that they would return to Indiana to establish breeding territories and lay their eggs when they reached maturity in 4-5 years, but by the end of the fall, they had already fled the area. Over 90 years after the last recorded Indiana nesting record, around a third of the released eagles survived and started nesting in 1989. Today, there are more than 150 nesting pairs, and more than half of Indiana's 92 counties are home to nests. Larger lakes and reservoirs, such Patoka and Monroe reservoirs, and longer rivers, particularly the Wabash, White, and Ohio rivers, have the highest amounts. Although a disproportionate number of nests are on public grounds, the majority are on private property. Bald eagles can be seen all over Indiana at any time of the year, but they are most frequently spotted close to major bodies of water where they feed mostly on fish and waterfowl. They will consume a range of creatures, including road-killed birds, mammals, and dead deer in fields, according to the varied feeding preferences. Larger, older trees tend to have nests that are close to water, though they can be more than a mile away. The location of nests is typically close to the shoreline, a forest edge or opening, on a hillside slope, on a solitary tree, or just above the surrounding forest canopy since a bald eagle's great wingspan makes it challenging for it to maneuver through dense vegetation. Eastern cottonwood, American sycamore, oaks, and eastern white pine are the 4 tree species that are most frequently used in Indiana. Although a dead snag will occasionally be used, living nest trees predominate. The major fork in the tree is where the enormous stick nests are located, and multiple nests may be constructed in the same region. Because the nests are so huge and are used for many years in a row, during wind and ice storms, nest trees may tumble or branches supporting nests, 6 to 10 feet in diameter, may be shattered. Bald eagle management entails promoting or safeguarding sizable potential nest trees close to water, preventing disturbance close to current nest sites, and keeping clean water and wetlands that sustain thriving fish and water bird populations. Strong protection for bald eagles is still in place because to the Migratory Bird Treaty Act and, in particular, the Bald and Golden Eagle Protection Act, even though they are no longer covered by the Endangered Species Act. The bald eagle really has more legal protection than almost all other birds in the U.S. Without a permit, it is not only prohibited to damage or disturb an individual eagle, even if such behavior is inadvertent, nests in the vicinity of the nest tree are also protected. The National Bald Eagle Management Guidelines were released by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in part to encourage people to willfully break the law. These management rules specify separation lengths between eagle nests and various man-made activities and may prohibit certain activities, particularly during the nesting season, which, depending on location, starts around February or March. Timber harvesting is permitted at longer distances outside of the breeding season, even though it may be restricted close to eagle nests. If activities that could harm a bald eagle cannot be avoided, a U.S. Fish and wildlife biologist should be consulted about the specifics of these regulations. If necessary, permits can also be obtained. Thanks to conservation efforts, bald eagles are now thriving in Indiana. Due to evidence of a good recovery, the Indiana Natural Resources Commission (NRC) has removed the bald eagle from Indiana's list of state endangered and special concern species. One of Indiana's biggest conservation success stories is the bald eagle's resurgence. Eagle populations once saw sharp decreases due to habitat destruction, the hat-making industry, and persecution. The final eagle nest was discovered in Indiana in 1897. Throughout the 1950s and 1960s, bald eagle numbers nationwide continued to decrease as a result of pesticides like DDT that interfered with their capacity to procreate. Bald eagles were put on the path to recovery by a combination of legislation modifications and conservation initiatives. To stop the killing of bald eagles, the U.S. Congress created the Bald Eagle Protection Act in 1940. In 1972, DDT was outlawed nationally, one of the first species to be declared as federally endangered under the Endangered Species Act was the bald eagle in 1973. As a result of this listing, state agencies started restoration projects to achieve eagle conservation objectives. From 1985 through 1989, the Indiana DNR restored bald eagles to the state. To establish a breeding population in Indiana, 73 eaglets from Wisconsin and Alaska were raised there and released during this time. In 1991, the first successful nesting took place. The American flag was certified recovered and taken off the federal endangered species list in 2007. After achieving a target of 50 nesting pairs, Indiana followed suit in 2008 and changed the status of the bald eagle from a state endangered species to a species of special concern. This was a noteworthy accomplishment considering that from roughly 1900 to 1988, no eagles were known to have nested in the state. The bald eagle population in Indiana moved from extinct to thriving in just 35 years. About 300 nesting pairs were reportedly maintained this year across 84 counties in Indiana, according to scientists. In 88 of Indiana's 92 counties, at least one bald eagle nest has been identified in the previous 5 years. Production of chicks increased by 11% between 2019 and 2020. The first endangered species restoration initiative in Indiana was the bald eagle reintroduction effort. Without contributions to the Indiana Non-Game Wildlife Fund, which serves as the primary funding source for all non-game and endangered species study and management, this project and ongoing research would not be possible. Eagle&Golden Eagle Protection Act and other state and federal legislation continue to provide bald eagles with protection even though they are no longer considered an endangered species. Observe bald eagles, their nests, and roosts from a distance of 330 feet, or nearly the length of a football field, if you spot any in Indiana. In Indiana, the two types of eagles were found. What kind of eagles are present in Indiana? I make it a point to pause whenever I see one of these amazing raptors to observe them. Their beauty, size, and astounding capacity to soar to incredible heights never cease to astound me. Eagles hold a particular position in many people's hearts and minds, therefore I'm not the only one to feel this way. Many things, including freedom, courage, honesty, inspiration, victory, and pride, are represented by these magnificent birds. There are not many eagle species that live in Indiana, unlike other raptors. Only a small number of species can actually be seen across the entire continent. In Indiana, the two types of eagles were found. What kind of eagles are present in Indiana? I make it a point to pause whenever I see one of these amazing raptors to observe them. Their beauty, size, and astounding capacity to soar to incredible heights never cease to astound me. Eagles hold a particular position in many people's hearts and minds, therefore I'm not the only one to feel this way. Many things, including freedom, courage, honesty, inspiration, victory, and pride, are represented by these magnificent birds. There are not many eagle species that live in Indiana, unlike other raptors. Only a small number of species can actually be seen across the entire continent. Check out the range maps to see which eagles are located close to you. I have provided a few images species to aid you in recognizing any birds you are fortunate enough to see. The two eagles that reside in Indiana are shown below. Bald eagle. The leucocephalic Haliaeetus, one of the most recognizable birds in the world, is the bald eagle. Did you know that the name's bald prefix has nothing to do with their lack of feathers on their head? These eagles, as you can plainly see, have white feathers covering their entire faces, with no bald spots to be found. In reality, the word piebald, which means white patch, and alludes to the brilliant white heads, is whence they get their name. Although practically everyone is familiar with the appearance of a mature bald eagle, it can be challenging to distinguish between young birds. It takes these eagles 5 years to develop the distinctive white head and dark brown body. These birds have a variety of diverse plumages and white and brown streaks on their bodies up until that point. Their beaks even change color. Understanding how to recognize young bald eagles correctly requires a lot of practice and expertise. There are bald eagles all around Indiana. Bald eagles are frequently spotted near bodies of water because they mostly consume fish. You can find them around marshes, lakes, rivers, and the coast. Forests close to huge bodies of water that offer fantastic fishing and towering trees for nesting sites are the best places. Every year, eagles add fresh layers to their small nests. The largest one ever discovered measured 20 feet tall, 6 meters 10 feet broad, 3 meters and weighed 3 tons. Every year, bald eagles would continue to build their nests, but as they grew more and heavier, the nests finally fall out of the trees, forcing the birds to start anew. Most likely, the sound of the bald eagle is not what you expect. You would be mistaken if you thought a threatening eagle call. With trills and tiny whistles, they sound more like gulls in my opinion. In fact, for dramatic effect, movie directors frequently substitute the red-tailed hawk's call for the bald eagles because they find them to be less impressive. With their amazing vision, it is not at all unexpected that bald eagles hunt from altitudes of up to 10,000 feet 3 kilometers. Compared to humans, their vision is around 8 times greater. The fact that these eagles can look into the ultraviolet region is more significant. This modification helps them locate fish that would be otherwise invisible in the glare by allowing them to see through the reflections on the water's surface. 28 to 40 inches 70 to 102 centimeters in length, weight 3 to 7 kilogram or 6.5–15 pounds. Wingspan 1.8 to 2.3 meters 71 to 91 inches. The golden eagle. Aquila chrysitos golden eagles are skilled hunters because of their incredible speed and agility. These eagles virtually invariably consume mammals as opposed to the mostly fish-eating bald eagles. Their preferred prey includes prairie dogs, ground squirrels, marmots, rabbits, and hares. But these raptors have also been observed to hunt and devour species as large as badgers, coyotes, mountain goats, and tiny deer. Even a bear cub has been reported to be taken for meal by them. What a display of bravery or stupidity! The term golden eagle refers to the dark brown color of the bird and the gold feathers on its neck. White patches can be seen on the wings and tails of young birds. Adult golden eagles and immature bald eagles have similar appearances and might be mistaken for one another. The difference between these two eagles is that the bald eagle doesn't mind exposing a small portion of its leg, whereas the golden eagle has feathers that reach all the way to the tops of its feet. These strong raptors frequently pair up for life. Male birds will pick up a stick or a rock and fly up high to impress a female before dropping it. The eagle will then perform a dive to recapture the thing before it touches the ground. Once a pair is established, they frequently engage in cooperative hunting, where one bird ambushes the victim and pushes it toward the other to make the kill. Golden eagles are known to prefer cliffs for their nesting sites, however they also have no preference for Indiana does not frequently see golden eagles. These eagles don't make a lot of noise, and their feeble, high sounds resemble whistles. For such a strong raptor, one would expect golden eagles to have a considerably more threatening sound, similar to bald eagles, 26 to 40 inches 66-100 centimeters in length, weight 3 to 7 kg or 6.5-16 pounds. Thank you for watching my video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like to this video.